it going, YouTube? Welcome to the Johnson Knife and Tool channel. I've got a new work rest for my grinder. Can't remember if it's pronounced Beaumont or Beaumont Metalworks, but that's who makes my grinder. And they came out with an articulating work rest, and that's what's in this package right here. And it's, yeah, well, let's go ahead and open it, and then I'll put it on something so you can see what I'm talking about. Packaged up really well. I actually got a couple extra connectors so I can put it on multiple arms, but this makes it to where you can move the work rest in multiple positions. And as you can see, there's quite a few pieces here. Yep, didn't want that to happen necessarily. Not exactly sure what these are for, but I know what that's for. And get an Allen wrench. Been wanting to actually make one of these for quite a long time, but I just happened to look on their website and noticed that they started making their own, which is nice, because they definitely have the tools to make a better one than I don't have, a mill or a lathe or anything like that, and they've got laser cutters and all that kind of stuff. They laser cut most of their steel out. Also noticed while I was on there, they have a new grinder that's really nice. If I ever need another grinder, I'll probably get that. It's called the Extreme. It's pretty darn nice. So the first thing we want to do is bolt this onto here. This is where it actually attaches to. The new one has a slide that it just slides right into, which is obviously a lot nicer, because you can. The only bad thing about this is, like, you have to have one of these adapters for each arm that you want to use it on, and so yeah, it costs a lot more money in that respect. I'm just assuming these things need washers on there. Thought these were going to be quick disconnect, but I guess not. on, get in there. Okay, so I had to change the bracket on the bottom and turn it the other way. But what I was trying to say is what I want to be able to do is put it up as at an angle as such. And that way, when you first start your initial grind for the edge, you can bring it up to the belt at a pretty good angle, so you can come up to it as such. I might obviously need to get a wee bit closer, but that's the cool thing about this is it's fairly adjustable. I might actually have to take off some of the bottom so I can just get a little bit closer, and that way, as you can see, I can start the initial grind that way, and then you can take this off and put, well, I usually do flat grinding, and then I can go to the other lines, and I find that, you know, if you go down a certain amount, it's just a lot easier to get it going that way. You know, it's, you know, and it's not as an extreme angle either. Although it's, you know, no matter what you do when you're starting the edge on there, you're going to shear off grit and stuff. But it makes it a lot easier if you have something flat to go ahead and go across as such. And then the other really nice thing about this is that I'll put it back on this side again, because I think it's a little easier to, well, I don't have a lot of room here. Yeah, like I was trying to say, the other cool thing about this is you know, I just got it myself, so I'm still trying to learn as well. But you take this off, and now you can set it up as such. Obviously, it'd probably be better for a smaller wheel, but if you're doing contours and stuff, you know, you've got the side now, you got something, at least for this type of grinder, you know, this makes a huge difference. So I can, for these dips and stuff, it makes it a lot easier. Now I could just go right here and then bam, it's a lot easier. In fact, I'll show you on the other side here. And this is one of the things I really wanted. You can see the angle goes right how I want it. So now you have a nice flat surface to hold things to. So that makes a big difference. And then obviously that would be better for a smaller wheel, but that's just to show you. Even for like that, for like some of my contours, this is really makes a huge difference. I can get in there a little easier, and I know it's square as well. So yeah, I've been wanting one of these for a long time, and it should help big time on some of these contours and stuff. And like I said, you have to, with this type, you have to have multiple brackets. I'll have to have, I've got 3 of these, you know, I've got one for this, and I've got one for my flat, and I do have a small wheel attachment, but I already have a flat thing that I made for that, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or put it on another small wheel, like, you know, like say a 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. I'll have to figure that out, and I might end up buying more of these because I've got probably 10 or 15 different arms now for different wheels and stuff. But you can see how how that seems to work. I mean, I really like it. I've been waiting for one of these for a long time. Like I said, I had thought about building one myself, but you know, this is so much better than I could do. Just like I said, I don't have the kind of tooling and stuff that they have, you know. So yeah, so far so good. I really like this. I highly recommend it, even though I haven't used it that much, but it's obvious what it does, you know what I mean? This is really, really awesome. So I'm just going to give a slight little demo of what I'm talking about right here. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. Puts a nice little, makes it a little easier. So yeah, same thing with that part. Like I said, normally I just kind of hold it and do it by hand, but this will be a much easier, so I'll be able to go down a little further, and I'll be able to control my lines a lot easier that way too. So yeah, another nice thing too with this thing, there's enough bar right here, so you can move this table in and out instead of having to, you know, move the belt so much. At least you'll be able to use the entire width of the belt by moving this thing in and out. Alright guys, so I wanted to show you what I kind of did. I modified the work rest, the flat part here, and I started off, you know, to establish my angle on that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but with I have a 10-inch grinding wheel here, and I started to grind this angle with this, but I could only go so far because it actually started to melt the sides of my wheel, and I didn't want to mess my wheel up. So I just established the angle on that, and then I took the this slack belt attachment here, and I basically, you got to take off the stud here, but you know, I basically just held it up like this and ground out that part and kept the angle. And the reason why I did that is I'll show you here in a second. So you can see that it gets it to the belt right there, and that's so you can get your initial grinds to the little railroad tracks down the center, and it makes it easy because all you have to do now is just hold it up there and just go across. That's it, no big deal. And depending on where you have this set will depending how far it will go down there, but you can kind of see, well, I think you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but you know, it's the grind lines on both sides are really even. And the other good thing about doing this, just like on this clip point, I usually have some lines going this way, and I usually do it freehand, but now I can sit here and do it on the grinder right here on the wheel. And you know, like I said, depending on where you have it, I mean, you can adjust it up or down, well, maybe, to get the angle that you want. Which, you know, I've done 2 knives now, and this is so much faster than trying to do it by hand. And like I said, the idea of this, and by the way, when I do that initial grind on there, I'm using a used belt. It's not a new belt. The reason being, it doesn't need to be. You're going real slow anyways. I mean, the belt's going fast, but I mean, you're doing light cuts, and you're trying to get it like I said. I don't know if you can see that or not, but maybe not. I don't know if you can see the little railroad tracks where I've scribed. But you put a new belt on there, it's just going to shear off anyway. So, you know, you go real slow and stuff, and then depending on if you're doing a flat or hollow grind, once you establish that grind, you can take this plating off and start doing it by hand and put a new belt on, and it's just, you know, you don't shear off. Excuse me, you don't shear off the grit. And this is done exactly what I'd hoped. It was so much faster. So I had a lot more control. And like I said, I'm not wasting a bunch of grit. Like, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of hard to see. But you know, it worked exactly how I had hoped to. And there's the other side. I just haven't finished the other side yet, but. Yeah, so this is doing exactly what and it's fairly sturdy. Yeah, so you know, it does take a minute to grind that out because of the slack belt, but because you can't really put a lot of pressure, and plus it moves a little bit. But actually, you know, that helped out because one side was grinding off a little bit more than the other side. So with the slack, I was able to turn it into the part that I needed more off. And like I said, this is pretty rigid. It's not too bad. And so yeah, like I was saying, I totally did exactly what I'd hoped, and it should save me some belts, you know, in the fact that I'm not ruining the belt right off the bat with the square edge on there. So yeah, and like I said, after doing these 2 knives right here, like I said, most of my knives have you know, a relief bevel on the back, on the spine edge, or on the spine side, to give it that more distal taper look. And I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it looks better, obviously. And it, like I said, and just looking at the tip, it's just so much more even. You know, I mean, you can do it by hand, but I'm just saying, to help speed things up, this will help it. You know, and that's the whole idea, is to do this, you know, I guess that's not the whole idea, but if you're trying to make money, the faster you can go, the better it is. Because you're being, you know, paid by the knife, paid by the hour, whatever. So I totally highly recommend this. This, like I said, made it so much easier to do that. And plus, you know, you can configure this in so many different ways to do other things as well, and other attachments. So it's really, really nice. I'm looking forward to figuring out more things that I can do with this, maybe even with my rotary plate and stuff, and see how that maybe I can incorporate that and stuff. But yeah, This thing is so sweet. The only thing that I'm a little concerned about is like the little arms right here. It's, you know, well, let me just show you what I mean. I mean, these things are aluminum, so they are soft. The studs are steel, but I'm hoping that I'm just not sure how long it's going to last. You know what I mean? Because you got to retighten it and loosen it, and you know, whatever. I just, you know, it is aluminum. I just hope it lasts for a fair amount of time. But it's very easy to set up. So yeah, I'm digging it. All right, guys, thanks.